Hi everyone, welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today's story is from my March 1997 issue of Tinkle. And in Tinkle, as you all know, they always feature stories from different cultures and different places all around the world that are sent in by their readers. So this is one of those stories. This is from Egypt. It's called The Golden Foot, based on an Egyptian story sent by Atul Shrivardhan. Script by Reena Aipuri, illustrations by Atul Shrivardhan. 2,000 years ago, there lived in the land of ancient Egypt Kut and his twin sister Nefos. And then I think that's a typo there. He says, "Come on, Kut." He's Kut. I bet he means, "Come on, Nefos. Our reed boat is almost full." And then she says, "Just a last few armfuls. There are good stocks here." Kut and Nefos were gathering papyrus reeds to sell to the paper makers. Then Nefos looks over at the pond. "What beautiful flowers! I'll pick a few." Nefos had gathered a few water lilies when, roar, a crocodile. She goes, "Ah!" She's going to try to escape. "Help, no!" she cries. Snap! Oh no, she falls and then the thing bites her foot. But then Kut steps in and then he smacks him with that big oar from the boat. "Go away, you monster!" Thud! The giant crocodile slid back into the water. "Nefos, my sister, your poor foot is bitten. Stop!" she's crying. "Lie down," Kut says, "while I run to fetch our reed boat. You will not be able to walk." "I'll never be able to walk again, sob," says Nefos. Just then there was a flash of light. Ah! And Nefos saw a tall figure coming towards her. It looks like an Egyptian god. He has the head of a parrot. "You are the god Thoth. Please help me." And then Thoth says, "Little one, do not fear. I am the god of healing. I will help you. But you must promise to keep my help secret from all people." And then she says, "I promise." Nefos did not know what happened next, but suddenly the pain in her foot disappeared. "I am well again. Thoth has given me a new foot." Yes, Nefos had a new foot and it was made of pure gold. "Kut, look, I'm well again." She's dancing. And then Kut says, "Gasp! Oh, it is wonderful. But how did it happen?" Well, Nefos says, "I cannot tell you, and you must not ask me, my brother." In the months that followed, Nefos worked and played as before. "What a pretty anklet you have, Nefos," says her friend in the marketplace. And then she says, she's thinking, "My robe and sandal hide the gold foot well." But one day, Kut fell seriously ill. Groan, oh! And Nefos is thinking, "Poor Kut, he is burning with fever. I must get the physician." The physician was a greedy man. And then he says, "You must pay me 3 sacks of wheat and 3 of barley." Nefos says, "I'll collect reeds and get what you want. Please cure Kut." In those days, there was no money in Egypt. People bought goods or other services, like doctor services, by bartering or exchanging them for other goods. But delicate little Nefos could not collect enough reeds by herself. "Oh, my brother, how will I get you the medicine? I have sold everything I had, and now," she notices her foot, "and now I have my golden foot. I must sell it, and I'll have enough to pay the physician." Nefos went to the goldsmith Nebka. Look at his eyes light up. "A gold foot! And such exquisite gold! How did you—" She says, "Please, Nebka, do not ask me. Pay me in wheat and barley and do not tell anyone of this barter." As Nefos limped home, she overheard 2 priests. So one of them saying, "It's an old temple to the goddess Isis. Those who pray there have their wishes granted." And she's thinking, Isis, temple? I must go there and pray for Kut. But how will I go with my lame foot? That night Nefos cried herself to sleep. Now, in the royal palace of the pharaoh, the king, lived the rich young lawyer Seker. Isn't that funny? Especially if you're Tamil, doesn't that look like Shekhar, like Chandrasekhar? But it's funny how things overlap from cultures that are across the entire ocean. But anyway, we see it looks like Seker. That's how I'm going to say it. One morning, the goldsmith Nebka has come to see you, my lord. And then Seker says, "Send him in. The crook has some pretty things." Nebka was brought in. "May you live 1,000 moons. May the gods give you..." And Seker says, "That's all right, Nebka. What have you brought for me?" Nebka says, "A gift fit for a king, gold fashioned for the gods." And Seker says, "Beautiful. This is exquisite. It must belong to a statue." And he says, "Where's the rest of the statue?" Nebka says, "Be not angry, gracious one, but the rest of the figure is of no value. I cannot say more." But Seker's curiosity grew, and he could hardly eat or sleep that day. He's thinking, "I will go to the temple of Isis in the desert and pray for an answer." Seker set out with Abu, his servant. "How much further, master? We have already traveled for 3 days." Well, that's far. So then he says, "Oh, we are already halfway, Abu." "But look, what is that?" Seker says. "There's someone lying half buried in the sand," Abu says. "Think about it. What is that?" "That is Nefos. 3 days to get to that temple, and she went without a foot." Whoa. It was Nefos. She had collapsed with exhaustion on her way back from the temple. "Master, I know her," says Abu. "She is Nefos, and she has lately been crippled. Her brother is sick, and she must have come to pray for him." As Nefos opened her eyes, she saw the golden foot. "Oh!" "Say no more. It looks like Seker is pretty smart." He says, "My prayer has been answered. I now know who the foot belongs to." Okay, no need to go to the temple anymore. He puts her on the back of the horse and says, "Come, let me take you home." In Nefos's house, Seker says to Abu, "Send for the physician Abu. Tell him that no expense will be spared in curing this young man." Abu says, "Yes, master." Kut soon recovered. And then she says, "The goddess has answered my prayers." And Seker says, "She answered mine too, and more." Not long after, Nefos and Seker were married, and they lived happily ever after. What a fun little story. So if you like this story, think about subscribing to our channel, Indian Story Read Along. We love having you here every time we read a new story. So join us again next time. We will see you soon.